said. Now, here's the point. Don't spend any time trying to change your body. I'm not talking about diet. I'm talking about your body is going to only be moved by the five senses. There's nothing spiritual about this. It's just a coat. It's just a covering. So, but here's the point. But if I let my spirit is transformed and my soul lines up with my spirit, then I can bring my body along. But here's what happens. What happens in any case, we still over here and not allowing our soul to be transformed. So when the body says it's hungry, mind says go and get something to eat. The body says I want it, mind says go and get it. And says, no, I'm going to let my mind, my emotions, my opinions, and my will be transformed to believe what Jesus has said. So then and only then am I going to be fully positioned to receive what God has promised. And that's when spiritual transformation really occurs. Can you just join me in giving God one more thank you for praise that I understand as well? So here's the point. So the spirit got renewed, regenerated, and repaired. And our role is to get into the word. Now here's the point. Don't just randomly read some. Don't talk about, I'm going to throw the Bible up in the air. Wherever it lands, I'm going to start reading. So now, there has to be some systematic study of the Word. That's why you have the outlines. That's why we have the scriptures for the year. So we can now study that Word and go in depth in that Word and really start believing that Word. So instead of just being so superficial, we're going to start digging into this Word this year like we never have before. Because y'all said already, and we can confess that this is going to be our best year ever. And the way it's our best year ever is that we're going to get into that word and study that word and believe that word and trust in that word and rely on that word and know that the spiritual transformation, Holy Spirit uses the word to make that transformation occur in our lives. So it's our definition right here very quickly. We talk about this idea, it goes from our current state to our former state, transformation. It's a complete change, form, nature, or appearance. And so this is what I really continue to sense in my spirit. Too many believers continue to see ourselves as this lump of coal and not this diamond. Too many believers still see ourselves as wrenches undone. I'm a sinner saved by grace. I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody can say, no, you are the righteousness of God, and you are the raised of God, and you are the redeemed of God. And even though there may be some behavior that still have to be worked out, you are still that diamond. You're not getting ready to be that diamond. You're already that diamond. So embrace who you are in the Lord and receive who you are in the Lord and accept who you are in the Lord and recognize that transformation has already occurred. When I stop believing right, I'm going to behave right. Stop looking at ourselves as already, I got all this junk around me and all this dirt. No, He is already perfected in our lives what He was perfected. And now we walk out what He's already done. So we talk about these definitions. So we talked about very quickly, two from last week, very, very quickly. Metaschematizo, which means a change in figure. Change figure. This is an example of metaschematizo. The figure changed. Y'all remember from the movie from Transformers. There was nothing at all. This thing went from a robot to either a jet or a car. But all that happened was there was an outward change that had occurred. And many believers think that as long as there is a change, that there's spiritual transformation that would occur. This is not the kind of change we're talking about. Let's read this together at the very bottom. It changes outwardly, but there are no changes inwardly. There's nothing about this robot that changed other than the form on the outside. So when we start talking about this metaschematizo, it is saying that all the thing that changed was the form on the outside, but there was not a change that occurred on the inside. So this is what happens. If you can read this with me. Oh, you can see it well. Let's read it. From 2 Corinthians 11, 14 and 15. And no wonder, for Satan himself keeps transforming. That's what he's doing. Metaschematizo. Transforming outside himself into an angel of light. The devil he doesn't have any goodness in him. But he's just changing the outward appearance to get close to us. Yes. He's not changing his inward desires. He's still, the only reason John 10:10 says the devil comes is to kill and to steal and destroy. So he hasn't changed any of that, but he's changing the outside to be an angel of light, to be more acceptable to us. Keep on reading here. It is therefore nothing great if his ministers also keep transforming themselves into ministers of righteousness, but their end shall be according to their works. The devil nor his ministers are ever going to have an inward change. That is what metaschematizo is all about. It's an outward change, but no inward change at all. So what we said last week, be careful who you allow to get close to you. Because there's some folk that are willing to say what you want to say, what you want to hear, and do what you want them to do. And their heart is to take you down as well. And we have to use the spirit of discernment to know, as Reverend Granny said on the Beverly Hillbillies, who is for us and who's against us. You got to discern who it is right now, because everybody in your life is not always for you and they're not always against you. And sometimes we'll put people out of our lives who are really for us, and let folk in who are really against us. Maybe the only reason she showed up in your life was to go back and just go through here and be a friend for a week. And you decide you want to go marry. So now you got to be clear about what it is. God, thank you for the reason and the season that people are in our lives. Be careful who you get close to, allow you get close to you. This whole point of it now. So metaschematizo, there is an outward change, but nothing occurred inwardly. So now look what happens. Now read this part right here. Read the latter part, not the Greek word, but the outward. Outward change that occurs from human effort only. Metaschematizo says, I can make the change myself. I can change eye color. I can change nail color. Now y'all got to get all the nails painted but this one, but then y'all change that kind of nail and all on the toes and everything as well. So that's human effort. That doesn't take any work from the Lord. You can do that yourself. So that's what metaschematizo is. It's saying, I can make this change. But it's always external and never internal. Now the next one we have, metamorpho. It's a change in form. Now read this please. It is an inward change that occurs that is reflected outwardly. So this is a change that occurs. So in this case, on one side over here, there was the same person wanted to push somebody off a cliff. Same one helping somebody up, because the change occurred internally. Same person that wanted to say something, do something wrong, but God started working on them, and there's an internal change that occurred. And now outwardly, we are seeing something because of an inward change. Read this with me, please. So metaphor is this: the invisible process in which Christians experience, I love this next one, unceasing change into the image of Christ. There is ongoing change. That I'm changed more today than I was yesterday because God is still working on my life. That I'm changed today more than I was last year because God's still working. So there's never a point where we reach full transformation, because it's an unceasing process that's always going on. Because you know what happens? Just when you think you got it licked, a thought comes to your mind. You're like, oh, Lord. Just when you thought you had it done, you did something like, oh my gosh, he set me back as well. So there's an ongoing, unceasing change that God is doing in our life. So it is not, transformation is not an event, it's a process. That's what we're saying. It's not an event. You can't say, well, I got transformed last Tuesday and I'm transformed this whole night. No, it's an ongoing process. I'm higher today than I was yesterday. Now still I can go even higher. And I can go even higher, because it's an unceasing change into the image of Christ. Now read this with me right here. So metamorpho, only God can make this kind of inward change in us. Metaschematizo, we are the ones that can make that. We can do that. Only God is the one that can make that internal changes. Can you just join me in giving God a hand clap praise for loving us so much that he would allow himself to make the change? So he is responsible for the change in you. So now, when our spirit got changed and repaired and regenerated and renewed, and then we got into the Word and start beholding Jesus, then God says, I will take responsibility to now transform your mind, so your mind now starts thinking like Christ, and then your mind starts lining up with your spirit, and then at that point you can receive and be always positioned for what God has for us as well. So let's read this verse together. Now, with that as a backdrop, now let's read 2 Corinthians 3:17 through 18, English Standard Version, our theme verse for the year. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. There's freedom to be who God called you to be. There's freedom to break through from people's perceptions. There's freedom to now focus on God and trust God to take care of the rest. There's freedom not to have to worry and not to have to doubt and not to have to fear. There's freedom because I now am trusting and relying on God. Now the next part, and we all, who is we again? Believers. With unveiled face. All right, we got some veiling. I understood this morning. We got some more veiling going on in this church. We'll talk about that a little later. But unveiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. For this comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. So what is it saying? So because now all the fear is gone and the focus on the law is gone, and we now live by grace, now we can see Jesus for who he is. Now we know our spirit has been transformed. Now our mind is being renewed. So my mind starts matching my spirit, which matches the Lord. Now, as I behold Jesus, then I'm going to be transformed. And what was it here? Into the same image I'm beholding. I'm going to be transformed into the same image I'm beholding. So we talked about right here. So we talked about before, this is us. Over here in silhouette, because what Ephesians 2:6, read that with me. God raised us up with Christ and seated us with him in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus. Do I have some raised folk in the house today? Do I have some raised folk in the house today? So God is the one who raised us, so that now we can sit and behold Jesus. And as we're beholding Jesus, guess what's happening? Some transformation is occurring. That when I'm beholding, when my mind, my attention is on him, some transformation is occurring. So beholding, to observe something remarkable, is more than a casual glance. We got to look intently and look intensely and intentionally there. So this idea, so I love this. This is my slide right here. Let's read this together. He will transform you into his likeness. You do the beholding. He does the transforming. Can't you just give God? I just praise God. I just thank God for that. So now I don't have to try to get me right. Because I tried to get me right before. It never got right. So now I just go back and behold Jesus and allow God to do the transforming. And while I'm beholding him, I'm being changed into the same image I'm beholding. Oh my gosh, that's good. So read this with me. You become what you behold. So read all this. Jesus Christ transforms lives. He does what? He heals, he renews, he rescues, he restores, he redeems, he saves from the inside out. Someone give God one more hand, have a praise word. God, Jesus Christ, is the one that transforms lives. He is the one that takes responsibility for the transformation as well. So now, since our spirit has now been regenerated, reborn, renewed, and now I get into the Word and my mind is renewed. Now my mind can start thinking like my spirit. And now because God said it, I know it's already done. If he says I'm healed, I don't care what body is hit. If I hurt it, I still know I'm healed. If God says he's supplied all my needs according to his riches in glory, I don't care what my checking account looks like. I know he's already done it. If God says he's my friend, when I feel like I'm alone, I still know I got a friend. When I feel like I'm down, he says he's raising me up. I know because my mind now is starting believing with my spirit. And now I can receive what God has for me. And so this whole point of spiritual transformation, it's a mind transplant. to start believing what God has said. Time for transformation. So let's talk about this. So what are the outcomes here? So we had this listed on last week, but didn't get to it. So I want to really unpack this today. So what are the outcomes? Because, in other words, what should be demonstrated if people are really spiritually transformed? You know, again, if you say you love somebody, it ought to be demonstrated outwardly. You can't wait, like I told you, like